Welcome back, y'all, and happy Friday. This is the Bluechip Breakdown, and I'm your host, Bull. Obviously, man, there's a whole lot of it's a whole lot of things going on out there, especially with Nico, and we are going to talk about that today. Um, dude, I'm in shock at this point, and we're definitely going to get into that. We also have some updates to a couple of visitors that we're going to have actually coming up tomorrow. Obviously, we have the orange and white game, and we're going to have several big time visitors coming up for that. So, we'll kind of go through, talk about a few of the players that I think Tennessee is in a good spot with. And if we can close out, that will be big for us moving forward. But, we also have a transfer defensive tackle that we've been hosting. I think we started hosting him yesterday. So we're going to kind of show you some of his clips, talk about his game, what I think it means for Tennessee in the transfer portal with our line. Please do make sure to like and subscribe to the channel. If y'all are here, y'all are obviously more than welcome to join in and express your thoughts. I know that there's a lot of frustration. Let's try not to go crazy with it. But at this point, if you don't know, if you haven't seen it, which I'm sure everyone has, man. So what's been going on is that I think it was Nikos over there with On Three. He came out and he said that Nico's trying to get a new contract, right? He said Nico's working on getting a new contract. Some other things kind of came out saying that if the contract isn't done, then Nico could potentially enter into the transfer portal. What we heard from the insiders was, well, Nico's been working on the contract for like the past 4 months. So didn't feel like it was that big of a deal, but at the same time, they never really came out and just kind of like shot the whole thing down as much as I kind of expected that they might. So, I think that is an issue. But, we also heard from, I don't know if that's his uncle or who that is. Somebody else came on Twitter and they were like, none of that stuff's true that Nikos is saying. His dad, Nico's dad, he kind of came out and said that same thing. But Nico didn't show up to practice today. So he didn't tell anybody. It was a shock to the whole coaching staff. Now, last night, Coach Halsley did have he had like a offensive meeting or something like that Nico was at. So Nico was at that one. But I would just say that at this point, it seems like there was definitely some truth in what Nico said. It seems like there's a contract. Nico might be looking for about $4 million. That's what's been speculated on. So I don't know how true that part of it is, but he was at about, I think, 2 million, like $2 to $2.5 million per year is what Nico was getting paid. So I guess that's what he's looking forward to getting. But we also got some, there were some tweets that kind of came out that said that Tennessee is not going to pay him that $4 million. So what it's going to mean, I guess, is that Nico's going to walk, because I can tell you right here, right now, there is not a more talented quarterback in this country that's playing college football than Nico is. Nico is the most talented guy. He can do everything. And that's why I pulled these clips up so that you can see him running. You can see him throwing from the pocket on the run. He's really what, if Tennessee was going to have a national championship or a chance at one, I mean, hell, even playoffs, I think that we really would have needed Nico. Now, can we still get it done? Yes. But I don't, I really like Merk. I think that Merk is, I think that he's a baller. I just don't think that he's on Nico's level, especially with Nico having started for an entire season. We've seen situations where Nico tried to put the team on his back and, lead us to victory. Didn't always work out for him, but, I don't know. I don't know that the cast that Merk would have to work with would necessarily, maybe be strong enough for us to still be in that same conversation. So where I'm at with it is, yeah, I mean, shoot, if he wants $4 million, if we have the money, I would pay it. Now, do I think that the way that, and again, this is all just speculation based off of what we've heard. We don't know what all's true and what's false. But for me, I don't like the way that Nico didn't show up to practice. It sounds like the coaching staff didn't know. If that's true, I don't like that. I don't think that that's a great sign, especially whenever, we got the orange and white game coming up tomorrow. And with all the rumors that's been kind of floating around and, social media back and forth, I feel like it's really no need to kind of like add fuel to that fire. But, you know what I'm saying? I feel like the reason that he did not show up to practice without talking to the coaches probably means that he wants to go to the portal. That's where I'm at. So, it's going to be tough. I mean, I understand that you don't want to just like let the leader of your team, do things like this, because it could maybe rub off on the rest of the team. But again, like I kind of said to start this whole thing off, where Tennessee's at is like, okay, you can either pay Nico if we have those funds to pay him and keep him, and you still have a chance to win the whole doggone thing. And maybe you're gonna have some character issues and all of that, but at least you will have a realistic shot. Or you don't pay Nico, and you said, okay, look, we're gonna stand on principle right here. And I mean, listen, I love this team. I don't see. We would just have to be so dominant in so many, because think about it, we don't have that many wide receivers. Some of the wide receivers are probably going to be leaving too, like with Nico leaving. I mean, you don't know who all is going to leave with Nico, so it just feels like we're going to be extremely shorthanded if this thing doesn't get worked out. And the insiders have come out and said that they don't think that it will get worked out. So we are in a major pickle. Needless to say, let me get to some of these chats real quick. So this right here is from Brian Lemons. What's going on, bro? Saying that okay, so Tennessee is letting Tennessee is telling Nico no more money and he can leave. Yeah, I saw the same thing. And right here saying that he's gone. Yeah, I think this might be right. From B Kills 1296. I'm tired of the nonsense. Honestly, he's making phenomenal money already. Play. So yeah, I let me bring this back up because I know that there's a lot of people who feel this way. I'm not saying anything is right or wrong, but I just want for y'all to understand this. People are going to always demand more money, or like you're gonna like if you feel like you're not getting paid what you're worth, you're gonna ask for more money. I don't think that there's really anybody watching this or, period, because we all have to work. Nobody's going to say, hey, you know what? I know that I'm worth this, but y'all just keep on paying me this because I'm going to be a team player. Like, I just don't think that really exists anymore. And if you look at it again, I mean, he started off, right, when he was coming out of high school, he would have been the highest paid quarterback at that point. But now I don't even think, I mean, I don't know. There's probably several quarterbacks getting paid more than he is, like Carson Beck. I mean, to me, that's almost kind of like a slap in the face. I was talking to P about this earlier. I mean, listen, if Carson Beck is going to make, what's he making, like $4 million? I mean, Nico should be getting paid more than him just on GP, like just off the top, because he's a much better. He has way more talent than Carson Beck does. I think that Carson Beck's going to look pretty average, to below average once he goes down to a team that doesn't have a whole bunch of juggernauts on it. Like he's not. So I'm just saying all those things just to say, players will get paid. I'm not mad at the players for getting paid. I think that the way that you go about it sometimes, that I don't know if he's necessarily, I don't know the whole ins and outs, but I could say maybe this could have been handled a little bit better. That's just me personally. So from Gary Hudson saying, let him walk. All right, so y'all would rather. So let me just ask y'all this. This is probably something I should have put inside of a poll. Would y'all rather let Nico walk and say, hey, we've got maybe a 5% chance to make it to the playoffs now? Or do you say, hey, we're going to pay Nico, we still have a chance to make it to the playoffs? Or do y'all just say, you know what, we're going to stand on principles. We're going to stand on business. We'll lose, okay? We'll lose 4 or 5 ball games. All right? We'll go out there, lose 4 or 5 ball games. And we'll just see what happens after that. Because guess what? If you want to have good quarter, like don't think now for 1 second that all these players are asking for more money, especially quarterbacks. They have got to get paid. Like there's a certain market. And I think that Nico was probably getting paid under what he was worth. Honestly speaking, I do. So we're just going to let him walk. But then what's going to happen with, Faison or with GMAC or with Merck or with anybody else that we want moving on down the line, or with any, like, this is where I'm at with it. I think that with college football, with how things are set up, what really needs to happen is you got to make the players employees. Until you do that, it's going to be wild, wild west. It's going to be open season. I think that they're starting to get that. Now, if I'm mad at anybody, I'm mad at the people who are pulling the strings from that perspective. Get the stuff fixed, and then we can put some salary caps, in place. We can make some long-term contracts. But until that happens, this is not just going to be like a Nico situation. This could happen with everybody. And if we're not willing to pay, even UGA and Kirby Smart, he's having to start to pay now, because he knows that you cannot win championships in this day and age unless you are willing to pay. Like, you've got to pay these guys. So that's where I'm at with it. You know what I'm saying? Again, I'm not saying anything's right or wrong. Maybe it is the best situation just to let Nico walk. If you've seen Merck, and obviously the coaching staff knows, if you've seen him say, hey, he can operate this system well, and we feel like we can still get it done there, then that's just what it is. I just think that it's going to make the coach's job maybe a little bit more difficult, because now you can't really lean on, hey, if this play goes totally wrong, we got somebody that can still get us 6. nothing went right on this play, but we've got a star at quarterback and he can get us 6. If Nico's a guy like, I'm sorry, if Mark is a guy like that, then yeah, you let him walk and you say, okay, you know what I'm saying? We'll see what happens. Let me see. Let me get back to this. Um, and so right here, so he's saying the way that he played last year. Let me get to some more. All right, so Timothy's saying that he hopes that he stays. If he does, he has to perform 100%. He's going to have to. And look, don't think not for 1 second that there isn't a team in this country that probably wouldn't take Nico. I think that there might be one that I will point to, and that will probably be Texas. That's about the only one. Just because I think that Arch is about the only guy that's about on that same level from a talent perspective as Nico is. It's I mean, nobody else is that talented. Doesn't mean that the guys can't play well. Doesn't mean that they're not talented. But this is a different level. Like this is generational type of talent right here. All right. So yeah, I mean, he's gonna have to step up. So from Bennett Burris is saying that super stressful for everyone involved. I am in the same boat as well. We need to prioritize keeping them. Yeah, I don't know. I think that sometimes people don't like you're not thankful for what you have sometimes until it leaves. But Nico is he's a baller. All right, so from Brian Lemons is saying that even if he stays, imagine the Bulls that are going to come quickly now just because of this. Yeah, that's another thing that I've kind of wondered is, maybe was it true that maybe they weren't planning on leaving until all the backlash came, because there wasn't. I don't feel like it was as much as it is sometimes with our fan base, but man, yeah, you get on social media and people are talking about how he's average, he's not that good, let him walk. I mean, shoot, I'm not saying that they're petty like that, but you just never know. I mean, you might just say, you know what? Let's just go somewhere else. Like he can go back to USC. It's close to his home. His whole family can go, watch him play. Like I said, he could really go anywhere. Kirby Smart would love to have him because he pretty much came out and said, hey, we don't got a quarterback. If you look at how the SEC's built right now, every team has a baller at quarterback, except for us in Georgia. We're gonna. I think is anyone else? There might be one other team, maybe, but it's really just like probably going to be us in Georgia. Oh well, LSU. I mean, I don't think that Nussmeier is a baller. He's a really good quarterback, but whenever I say baller, I'm talking about they can make it happen with their legs, with their arm, all of that. I think that Merck can do it, but we will see. So this one right here from BKL1296 is saying that making this public and no showing day before a spring game is unbelievable behavior. Like, what a move. Yeah, I have to agree with you on that. All right, so yep. Regardless if he stays or leaves, he said let him walk. I don't agree with letting him walk. I'm not in that camp of letting him walk. This right here is saying that the team has no chance with or without Nico. Now I disagree with that 100%. And so that's another one of my theories. I probably should have made a poll about this too. For those of y'all saying let's just let him walk, did you think that we had a chance anyway? Because I think that if you're saying just let him walk, you probably didn't believe in this team to start it off with. And then also, what did you think about the team last season? Were you one of those? And I'm not just talking to you, but I'm talking to everybody. If you're in that let Nico walk camp, did you think that we're going to make it to the playoffs last season, or did you say, no, we don't have a chance. We're probably going to, lose. We're probably only going to win like 8 or 9 games. Eight games. At the most. I kind of feel like the people who are saying let him walk just didn't believe that we had anything going anyway, which would make sense. I mean, if you don't think that we have a chance, then yeah, why don't you just let everybody walk? Let the whole team leave. We don't have a chance. Just let everybody go. You know what I'm saying? Like that. Maybe that's. I don't know. I still think that we could get it done without Nico, but I don't think that I've seen it. See what I'm saying? Like especially not from Merck. I haven't seen him in live situations show that he can really lead us that far. Just because we don't have I think we've got some very talented wide receivers. You got to skill players. You got to get the ball to them. Running backs, I think we've got some very good running backs. Offensive line's good, but all that stuff's kind of on paper. So we'll see. All right, this team. Okay, I'm sorry. I think I got to that one twice. All right, this one right here is from Silly Bear 32, saying that luxuries become necessities. Yeah, man. Yeah, that's where we're at. Like, I don't know, man. This thing could unravel quickly. So from Hub is saying honestly, he is worth it And considering the backup from Penn State got $4 million to transfer to Mizzou, I think that's an excellent point. Yeah, that's just what the market is now. So I don't know. Do we have a money problem? You know what I'm saying? Like, and I don't even like to be counting people's pockets like that. I don't even like that thought. But do we have a money problem? Because it kind of feels like we might. Because this is coming up too. It's coming up too many times for me now. I felt like before, when players were going somewhere else, it was more because, it probably mostly because of the money, but we weren't willing to pay them because we maybe said, it's not going to be worth it. Not that we didn't have it. Now I'm starting to wonder, do we even have it? Why aren't we? I just don't. And I don't think that, just like we said, I don't feel like Nico's family or his team, right? I don't feel like they're petty on a level where, hey, we're just gonna leave just to prove a point. I don't think that the coaching staff should be that petty either. Now, it is a big problem if the leader of your team at quarterback is a no-show at football practice. All right, even if it's just a walkthrough, like, you're not supposed to do that, but you got to be able to reprimand them. Say, hey, don't you do that again. Now, we are going to pay you, but put a clause inside of his contract, right? Do something like that. I just don't. That's why I'm wondering: are we running out of money? And who's getting overpaid? Because I feel like somebody else maybe is getting overpaid. Why do we have to overpay so much? I think that we should be able to get people for market value. Again, for Nico, $4 million, that's market value. There's probably 5 or 6 teams right now that would pay that for Nico. And they're still going to have a very solid roster with it. I don't know, man. I don't know. Let me try to get some more of y'all's thoughts. And we can move on. And we can always come back, but I definitely want to I want to see how everybody's feeling about it. So he said that he handled this the complete wrong way. I let him kick rocks and give all his money to Faison. Well, but see, but why would you do that though? Why would you take away money from the quarterback that you have for this season and say, hey, we're not going to pay you, but oh, by the way, Faison, we're going to add whatever Nico was making on top of what Faison's going to be making, which is probably close to what Nico's getting, and you're right at $4 million for a quarterback that's not going to be on campus until next season, right? I just think that we just need to buckle down and just pay him. That's just where I'm at, dog. Like, just buckle down and pay him. You're probably gonna have to pay some other people too, but that's on them. Like, I feel like, if Nico came out, like they said, if he came out like 4 months ago and he said, I want to make X amount of dollars, whatever that number was, you should have said, okay, we're gonna give it to you. That's how things should have gone. The contract stuff should have been done. And I think that if it had gotten done in a timely fashion, we wouldn't be at this point. And we see that with NFL teams. I don't think that we're operating our front office maybe 100% the way that we need to be doing. You got to operate like an NFL team. What do? A lot of times they're going to try to pay the players early to get that out of the way. And then you can pay it at your number, closer to your number, instead of having to wait and the number could continue to increase. All right, this right here is from Bennett Burris. I hope that I'm saying that right. Sorry for keeping you waiting. But saying that the media and fans has made this 10 times worse. It's business now. There is nothing personal about this. Yeah, I mean, I think so too. And of course, fans are going to be fans. We're all really passionate about our teams. Everyone's got very passionate fans. I think that for the most part, we understand that this is what college football is. This is what college sports is now. But and you have to pay the players. There is a market value. If you've got good players, you're going to have to pay them, or they're going to go somewhere else. You're not going to leave $1 million sitting on the table. I don't think I would love for somebody to raise their hand and say, I'll leave $1 million on the table just for like whatever, just so that the team can do what. Nobody does that. Like, that to me isn't even realistic. But you also have to understand, like I kind of said earlier, it's not about the players taking, the players using the market how they use it. It's about the way that the market is set up because of the higher ups. They are the ones that have to get this stuff fixed and make some real contracts that have binding language in it that, you know what I'm saying? That, like, you can't just, hey, I just got a new contract last month, which Nico didn't do. But I'm just saying, now you could say, hey, you just gave me a contract last month. I think that needs to come on up. You can do that now. But that's just because, for whatever reason, they don't want to, put these players on an actual payroll. You know what I mean? like on a real payroll that says that you work for the University of Tennessee or you work for the SEC. Once they do that, it's going to go back to being better for us as fans because we'll know who's going to be on our roster because of their contracts. Again, it's the same thing that you see with NFL teams. If you break that contract, whatever those terms are, you probably have to pay the whole thing back or whatever, but it's some stipulations in it. I don't know why they can't do that now, but it just seems like they can't do it because people are just doing anything. All right. So right here we have one from Chris Carter saying, "Yeah, yeah, I'd sacrifice one season." That's funny, man. Yeah, I wouldn't. You know what I'm saying? If this was NFL where you could draft, I'm not against tanking. Where if you're the worst team or one of the worst teams, you can get a really high draft pick. You know that it's going to pay off for you next season. But we could tank, and that could kill it. Like if Tennessee comes out and has a really bad season on top of you saw that they're not willing to pay that much money and the team's not the team's not great, then who wants to see what I'm saying? Like people wouldn't really want to come here, I don't think. All right, this one right here is from Pimpin' Orange saying let him walk. He is not a difference maker at all. I'm about to pull this. I'm gonna go ahead and pull his clips right on back up for y'all because I think that we have a very, very short memory. I disagree with that. I think he's a big time. All right, and so from G, he's saying, Nico does need to get to practice. That part of it, I'm not, I can't say too much about that one, but I still think that we need to try to pay him. I think both sides need to come together and get it figured out. All right, this one is saying is yes, it's a principle thing. It's a principle thing, and if he had looked better last year, this would be a different situation. Yeah, I just so he had 2,600 yards last season as a freshman, his first season starting in the SEC. You can see how much he meant to this team. Now we didn't use our quarterback's arm as much as we've seen inside of this system. But like I've tried to say a million times, people are sitting on top of Tennessee's routes. Teams know what Tennessee's running on almost every single play because there's just not that many options. Some of that's on the most of that, all of that's on the coaching staff. You got to open things up. So, while we always want to blame the quarterback for how well the team does or how poorly the team does, it's not 100% on the quarterback. It's a team sport. But yeah, I mean, I think that he did very, very good as a freshman. I think he might have had the best numbers of any of the freshmen last season, if I'm not mistaken. So I don't know. I mean, I guess it just is what it is. So right here, so Brian is saying that if Nico is not worth top 5 money, who is what quarterback are you going to attract when you're not willing to pay? Yeah, like it's crazy. Unless y'all want to go to like a wing T offense, we could probably do something like that because then you don't have to worry about wide receivers. You don't have to worry about quarterback as much. Can you run? Can you throw it some? Okay. But you're going to need some really good running backs. You got to change it. Everything has to change up. Now, it's ways to do it. Is it realistic? Is it feasible? No. So I guess for me, I'm not into I personally wouldn't be trying to make a statement or prove a point when it's really only going to hurt me. You know what I'm saying? Like you got to kind of balance it out. Like, okay, hey, look, we about to make this point. I just think that that's going to backfire majorly, like in a very, very major way. All right. Yeah, I see there's it's a whole lot in here, man. I want to see. All right, so yeah, so we got this right here. I don't know if I already got to that one. Let me see about this one from RW saying I don't care if Nico is the second coming. You can't let a guy hold your team hostage. He's putting himself over the team. I hope Hypo makes him walk. So like I said, I don't know how much money Tennessee has. If that's holding us hostage, we don't have enough money. Okay? We don't have enough money because that's what good quarterbacks get paid. Like they're going to get paid $4 million now until things change, which that could come within the next couple of seasons. If that's the case, then why not pay Nico now and try to win and then worry about, hey, these future quarterbacks, like you don't have to worry about like standing on principle and all that and making statements because it's not going to matter moving forward if they know that that's coming. But I guess they don't because they're just willing to let them walk. But yeah, I don't think that we have enough money. That's inexcusable to me. That is, and there's no reason because there's too many big donors. Like we should be able to find a way. That's not our job as fans. Obviously, people will give the money that they want to give, But as fans, it's not our job to make sure that our teams are going to be put in the best positions possible every single season to win a national championship. What do we know now, y'all? That you have to spend a lot of money to win national championships. You've got to spend. If we're not willing to pay Nico $4.5 million, like I think it was Brian who said earlier, who are you going to pay that to? Like, it's not going to get too much better than that, not on this level. So this right here is from Timothy Jackson. Sorry to keep you waiting. Saying that we have to keep him. If he leaves, it sets a bad precedent, and quarterbacks that are in high school now will see it. Not to mention the hit to the current roster from transferring. Yeah, yep. I think that we are, man. 1 second, let me see right here what Zeus has said. He said I could be Nico's agent getting involved, and Nico didn't even know about it. Or he's saying that this could be Nico's agent getting involved, and he didn't even know about it. Yeah, if that's the case, obviously, I would say that Nico, he can stand up and say, hey, I didn't do this. I don't think that he would have not shown up for practice today. So it does feel like Nico's kind of in the same camp with him. I do kind of feel like we will get this thing worked out. I know that the insider said that they don't see it happening, which they know a lot better than I would. It would be hard for me to even fathom that we would let him walk for $2 million. Like, you can go find that money somewhere. If you got to cut somebody else at another spot, maybe, I don't want people to get cut, but I think that y'all get what I'm saying. Like, you got to go find that daggone money. All right, so I do want to talk about some other things, and we will come back to this Nico situation, of course. But I do kind of want to just real quick, I want to talk about some of the visitors that we do have coming up, just to kind of, talk about some positive things. This is the list. I think I got this from VolQuest. I think some of them from 24/7 Sports. But either way, man, there's a few players here that I like that are coming up. And we got, obviously, the biggest one. Let me pull up their stuff right here. Give me a second right here. All right, so biggest one is going to be Braden Rouse. Okay, so Braden Rouse, 4-star linebacker, as y'all can see, leaning towards Tennessee, 6'3". He's a long guy that can move, that can do a lot of good things. I'm excited about this one. Tennessee needs to continue to close out on players, especially on that second level. But he's one, like we've seen here recently, where, he can play Leo, he can play stand-up Mike or Will, looks good out in space. The defense, if we keep on, if we can add him, because he hasn't chose Tennessee just yet. But if we have a very strong showing this weekend, maybe we can get him on up off the board, and, have something for us to kind of look forward to, just moving forward. But yeah, that linebacker room is getting deep. So there's another player too that I want to talk about from 2026 that's going to be up tomorrow. And this is Nick Hankins. So 6'1" cornerback. He's got great length. I love his film. He's a really, really good athlete. One of the things that I like to look for, especially with these cornerbacks, is their stride length. He's got beautiful strides. It's not overly long. He's got really quick feet. So he's a guy that he actually, to me, in some ways, not necessarily from like a technical perspective with his form and all that, but in some ways he does put me in the mind of a Ricky Gibson. You know what I'm saying? Like, he's kind of one of those types of players. And I just think that he's only going to get exponentially better once he does get up on campus with our volunteers. Again, he hasn't chose us, but I think that we should be in a pretty good spot. You know what I'm saying? I think he's kind of like balanced out with most of the programs that he's looking at. And this is the other player that I want to talk about. Now, this is Ethan Hauser. We've talked about him before. He plays safety, listed at 6'2". I can tell you he's about 6'3". He might be even taller than that now. Might be over 6'3". But he's a really, really good athlete from 2027. And, I think that he really likes Tennessee. This is a situation that if Tennessee can't seal this deal up, again, there's still plenty of time. But I know that Tennessee's pretty high up on his list. So if Tennessee can't seal the deal, that's going to be on whoever it is. Like, if it's on Coach Banks, whoever, if it's on Coach Nez, it's going to be on one of the coaches. Just because, I've been working on them, okay? And, I know that they will work on them, and I will continue to work on them. But I would love for Tennessee to continue to add these taller, longer safeties. You know what I'm saying? And just moving forward, I think that the defense could be great. If everything kind of holds true, if what it feels like to me is true, that Tennessee doesn't really have the funds to go out and get the top, like top-notch quarterbacks, then we're going to have incredible defenses. Okay. So, I want to make sure that I say that. And I got these guys ready, prior to me even knowing about this new Nico stuff, like, the new stuff that just came out here very, very recently. Okay. So the next thing that I want to do, y'all, is talk about a player that Tennessee has up on a visit in the from the transfer portal. So this is Cam Rice. He plays, I think he could play either one of the tackle spots in Tennessee's defense. He's listed at 6'3", 290. And as you're looking at him, for me, he puts me in the mind of like a Bryson Eason, which Bryson Eason is bigger than him. He weighs more. Bryson Eason's about 10 pounds heavier. But I think that just from a skill set perspective, really good feet. I think that he has strong hands. I think that he's got pretty quick hands. We see him on different stunts and things that Tennessee likes to do. I think that he'd be a great piece for us to add, and he would be coming in as a graduate transfer. So that's why he's in the transfer portal now. I think he entered April the 2nd. Tennessee offered him like a couple of days after he entered into the portal. So jumping on a guy this quick, coming from, kind of like a lower level of football, I think that Tennessee's going to target at least one more tackle. Like I would say at least, even if we get this guy, which I feel like Tennessee probably will. He's got several offers. I think he's got over like 20-something offers. But seeing his versatility, being a guy that could play anywhere, with our tackles, makes me think that Tennessee knows that we need help maybe in two different spots. So we're going to add one more guy, right? Like I think that if we can find a guy, like if someone hits that portal with a really, really big name, I think that we're going to try to go get him. But that takes me back to if we're not willing to pay Nico that, an extra $2 million, how are we going to pay one of these tackles like $1.5 million? Because if we're talking about getting a real guy, that's what they're going to be asking for. I just think that, maybe there are some reasons for us to be a little bit more concerned about, I guess, Tennessee's finances. It's, to me, does not look good unless there's something going on with Nico's character that we don't know about. But either way, I think that, I think that Tennessee's going to end up adding probably two. I think that's what, we're going to try to add two tackles in this year's portal. All right. So I'll definitely want to talk about that. Now, we can get back to talking a little bit more about what's going on with Nico. I'm going to try to get to some more of these comments right here, or these chats right here from Boosted931, is saying that it's going to cause bad chemistry on the team, letting Nico go, in my opinion. Oh, that's an interesting point too. Like, yeah, if Nico leaves, like I said, some people will want to leave with Nico. I think that Mike Matthews, I think one of the main reasons that he stayed was because of Nico. And Mike can go play wherever he wants to as well. So he can probably just follow Nico. Wherever Nico goes, who else wants to leave? And then we're in a really bad situation where we have to go to the transfer portal. We're now going to have to add, where I thought that we probably needed one wide receiver, with if the whole roster was as it stands today. So now we might have to add 2 or 3 wide receivers. We still need tackle help. I mean, like we're going to need too many things. And I just think that the team is going to take a huge step back. You're still going to have to end up paying whatever you didn't pay Nico. You're going to have to pay more than that for letting him go. That's why I'm kind of to this point now. Is there something that we don't know? Is there something, did he have a falling out with somebody, or what the heck's going on? I also read, again, don't know how true this is, but I read a tweet that said that Nico's teammates, some of the players on Tennessee's team, they're starting to get frustrated with the way that I guess Nico has handled this so far. But yeah, it's just, the only way that we can salvage anything would, inside of my mind, would be to pay Nico. If we don't pay him, it's this. I'm telling you, man, we could go backwards in a very, very major way. Not just for this year, but for a long time. And this right here is from Brandon. Okay, so we're on the same page. He's saying that he gets why everyone is upset and taking this personally. That's what fans do for sure. But if Nico walks, we're cooked. Yeah, it doesn't just hurt us for this season. Oh, perfect. Yeah, so we're on the exact same page with that. Let me see what Unsung had to say right here. Okay, so he says, I'm right. Say what you want, but Nico flat out took OSU home basically by himself. He sure did. Those are facts. Let me see what Rick's talking about in here. Saying I want an employee that pulls a no call no show. Yeah, I mean that's true, but you also have to have the people working for you that can execute the job. So that's the tough part. Not saying that there aren't quarterbacks that that I feel like there are quarterbacks that can obviously execute, that will show up to everything, but can they do it on the same level? And football, sports it's a little bit different. I totally get it. I get everybody's point, because it's not a good look. I don't think that this was handled right by maybe either side. I think both sides made some bad mistakes, but I think that you also have to be able to sit down at a table, have a real conversation, and do something that's mutually beneficial for both parties. I think that we can still do that because Nico leaving that only hurts Tennessee. That only hurts Tennessee. You know what I'm saying? Maybe it could hurt Nico too, but like I said, he can go play wherever, and they will. There's a lot of programs that I know they'll give him the backing and give him the players that he needs to succeed on the level that he wants to. I'm disappointed that right now it feels like that's not Tennessee. I'm not saying that it isn't. I'm just saying that at this point, kind of feels like I'm starting to question, like, what the hell is actually going on? I don't know. How do we ever get to this point? I never would have thought in a million years that Tennessee would say, hey, Nico's asking for, he's asking for, like the, market value, right? For his caliber, that is market value. And we say, nope, we're not going to give it to you. You have to go. I don't know. I'm just going to tell you, man, for me, if this thing doesn't get like, if Tennessee takes major steps back, and it's not just about this season, but if next year doesn't look good either, if we see, oh, Tennessee can't even go out and get these highly ranked players or these players that are difference makers, whether that's at quarterback or at wide receiver or tight end or offensive line, defense, anywhere. If we can't still go out and get the types of playmakers that we've been getting for the past few seasons because now we're putting some bad stuff out there, then yeah, I mean, it's going to be time for the whole damn staff to go as far as I'm concerned, because you don't let this type of stuff happen. Again, I don't know what happened behind the scenes, but I can't see it, man. Like, unless he walks in to Coach Heupel's office and smacks him in the face, I mean, he would have to do something just egregious, something crazy, something really bad. Because players, I'll just keep it real with you. Players will miss practice sometimes. Now, not letting anybody know that's a bad look. I'm not saying it's not, but players miss practice. Players miss class. You don't hear about it, but that happens a lot. So that's not even like some huge, you know what I'm saying? Like, that's not some like huge deal to me. Let me see what Brent Williams is saying. He's saying, okay. So he's saying let him walk. All right. So it's a lot of people that saying let's just let him walk. But I wish, actually, I'm gonna tell you what I'm gonna do. If he ends up walking, I might come back. I might come back to this stream and go through and see who all was cool with him walking. I'm just hoping that it's not gonna be no complaints if Tennessee's football team is losing. If we go out versus Syracuse, if Syracuse all of a sudden turns into an actual ball game, we got Georgia week 3. That might be the final straw for me. If we go get blown out by UGA at home, and then they tie our record of beating them 9 years in a row, that would go all through me, boy. That would piss me off personally. But I'm just curious to see how people are going to feel if the team's not as good as we hope that it could be. All right, so this right here is from Riley Hilton. Sorry about that, man. I need some glasses. So asking what are my thoughts on the potential that we could land Braden Rouse? Yeah, so we kind of just talked about that. I don't know if you missed that portion of it or not, but I think that we're in a really, really good spot with him. It sounds like he really likes Tennessee, and I think that he would be a great addition to already deep linebacker room. I just hope that we can pay him. You know what I'm saying? I just hope that we have enough money to get these folks paid or something, because I know that the revenue sharing is coming, so that should help out some. But I mean, everyone's got the same amount of money. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's pretty equal. Some people will allocate more funds to different sports. If we don't have the NIL money, I mean, we might have to, dedicate all of our revenue sharing money to our football team just to even have a damn chance. From Unsung saying that Nico makes $2 million a year and Lagway and others are making more. Business goes both ways. Yeah, and now that's a slap in the face, because Lagway is younger than Nico. He didn't play as much as Nico did last season. Now, I think that Lagway is really good. Florida's got a whole nother set of issues. I don't know if he's even started to throw the football yet. I haven't looked into that. But yeah, I mean, like, there's just no reason that these other quarterbacks are able to get anywhere near what Nico's getting based off of his skill set, based off of his talent level. And we say, man, like, let's just let him walk. Let's just let him walk. This right here is from Hub. It's saying that if we let Nico walk, in my opinion, Josh will have the first losing season, just because I don't feel like the other backup quarterbacks are ready yet. Yeah, I think that that's an excellent point. I think that they're really good, but there is something to be said about, like you're really getting thrown out there now. So I mean, just think about how Merck feels. Again, I love Merck. I think he's a daggone baller. I don't think that he's going to be some slouch or some scrub, but what could we expect that Jake Merklinger is going to have a more productive 2025 season as his first time starting? Whereas better than what Nico did in 2024. Do we think that? I don't know. I mean, I know that we're making some changes to the offensive scheme and all of that. It better be the coaches are going to have to step up in a major way. This right here is also from Riley talking about Leo, that he has a prediction for Tennessee and Michigan, but I feel great on the potential that we can land them. Yeah, I think that we're going to end up with Leo too. Hopefully, this right here is from JG saying that his dad put out today that Pete Nakos doesn't actually have a story here. A couple other people have said the same thing. That's not okay. So yeah, that's what they said, and I was on. I was in the same spot with you, man. I saw that they had said that, and actually, I think that my computer's about to die on y'all. But so yeah, I saw that they had said that, but the fact that Nico didn't show up to practice today, and now there's more things coming out from different outlets saying that he's asking for $4 million. Like they've got specific numbers, and then even our own insiders are not. They're like, man, we don't think that this is going to get worked out. That's why I'm saying I think that this is very, very real, and we could end up losing Nico. And if we lose Nico, we're going to be in a really, really tough spot. We have to spend a lot more money to even be able to compete this season than what we would have had, than what we would have needed to pay Nico just to, be where we are already at. But anyway, y'all, that's going to have to be it just because my computer is about to die, and I'm going to have to go ahead and cut this one short. But thank y'all for joining us. Please do make sure to like and subscribe to the channel. And we'll be coming back, man, as soon as we get some more information on it. We're going to be coming back to y'all, and hopefully, fingers crossed that this thing can get worked out. But we'll see y'all on the next one. Thanks. Peace.